This is Novalis's maiden voyage, rather pretentiously named. I'm coming up to Saint-Suliac. I'm on the Rance. I launched about half an hour ago. Tide's going down. I'm going to go into this to this beach until I run aground. And then I'm going to put the struts, and I'll wait until the tide starts coming back in. Well, it's interesting. This boat seems to run quite well with such a small engine, 2.5 horsepower. We're on low revs. We're probably doing about 2 or 3 knots. I guess there's a tiny amount of wind. There should be a little bit more this afternoon. So this is we're going to have some very, very calm conditions, but it's nice to have a little bit of a sail before the end of the season. It was rather cold this morning, but it's getting better. Well, at least I'm in a boat this size. I'm less disturbed by a motorboat wake. Well, he's only going quite slowly. He's obviously he's a fisherman. There we are, doing a little bit of rocking and rolling. So I'll come back a little bit later. Of course, Saint-Suliac was made quite famous by the television series, the French television series Entre Terre et Mer, between earth and sea, about people in the 1920s and finding it very hard to find work, and going to sea to go fishing. They went to Newfoundland, they went to the Canadian coasts to catch cod, and it was extremely dangerous in those days, and many men were lost. And if I'm able to land here, I'll go up to the church and take some photos of the votive statues and so on and so forth, that because very often people escaped barely with their lives, and we're very thankful for it. Here we are at the pier of Saint-Suliac, and here's Novalis. I just got off. I've been doing some more work on the rigging and everything, and because I haven't sailed yet, I've only motored. So there she is. There's my bed in there. Lots of pillows to cuddle at night, and I've put the struts because I've been on the bottom for a little while, and just slightly listed to starboard. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's I was ready for all that. It looks like she's sunk into the mud a little bit, but not very much. So this is Saint-Suliac, this lovely church and old houses. Very, very little changed from the film where they filmed Entre Terre et Mer, and it was along here that the Charmers, the big ship that went over the Atlantic, came to offload the salted cod. So I'll take a few pictures in the church, and there's the little the Holy Virgin in a shrine, and that's just where they sailed past there, and we're able to say their final prayers before facing the dangers of the sea. So this is the way up to the church in Saint-Suliac. Gosh, an old house being renovated. And some of these old medieval cottages, quite amazing. With this doorway, and then this little doorway here. This little crepi, and then this house here at the edge of the churchyard. Very old. They made their fortune by fishing. This lovely little house there in its own yard. And we come into the church. 3 men killed during the Second World War. And a lot more were killed in the First War, 1914-1918. So half an anchor fixed to the upstairs door. Now we'll see if it's open. Some saints up here. I don't recognise any of them. That's probably Saint-Suliac. Looks, well, obviously he was a priest, maybe an abbot. Let's see if we can get in here. It is open. Here we are. And we start at the back of the church. Yes, it was Saint-Suliac. He was an abbot. And the main church. And this is where they came to pray for their dead after those fateful voyages. Very heavy 19th century furnishing in the sanctuary here. Some choir stalls, very, very heavy in style. And this great big altar here. Not even so much as the cloth on it, even if it's no longer used. And Our Lady up there. Looks like something maybe from the 18th century perhaps. And this is the famous altar of Our Lady. And people still light votive candles. And here we see Our Lady here. And that carving above the altar represents the fury of the sea. The boat with the sail torn, and she plucks him out of the water with a boat hook. And over on the left side is the shrine that you see from the port there. And I will say a Hail Mary in remembrance of those who died at sea, and for those who were plucked from the sea and whose lives were saved. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. And I'll see if I can get a decent angle. And there's a procession every single man with a rosary. I think they were probably the three priests behind, and then there are these men. I think they were probably sailors, fishermen. And up on the top is a lighthouse and a boat with a gaff rig. It's a medieval church, and there we find. I'm not quite sure what the symbolism of this is. Somebody looks about to hit that poor beast on the head, and then I think that might be St. Francis, maybe, and a woman in prayer, surrounded by animals, and there's another man with a club, obviously about to kill an animal. Very strange to see that in a church. Now, I don't know if this will be... Oh, yes, I think this will be quite easy to see. It's very, very typical of these churches by the sea. They had model ships as votive offerings to Our Lady for having saved lives. St. Anthony of Padua. "29th of August, 1597, Saint-Suliac was the theatre of a severe battle between the Catholics of the Saint-League, whose command was at Dinan, and the Malouins, I think probably sailors, submitted to Henry IV. The fighters, 250, commanded by the captain of the Tremere, took refuge in the church. They suffered assaults from a troop of 800 men arranged in the at the edges of the area around here by the Lord of Tremblay, whilst two slave ships, galères, under the orders of the of Sir de la Bardelière, who came from Saint-Malo and anchored in the port, bombarded the church. I suppose, yes, it's possible with cannon. Not one single of the 250 Catholics had their lives saved. The church suffered considerable damage, and which, unfortunately, were only provisionally and incompletely repaired. So here we see the vault is 19th century. So we can see rather easily how badly this church was indeed damaged. Here are a lot of thanksgivings, probably for lives being saved at sea. I find this place very moving. And I don't know if the Blessed Sacrament is here with the veil, but that doesn't always mean anything. And the Sacred Heart of Jesus, Saint Mark, Saint Joseph, very 19th century. Of course, nothing would be older than the 19th century. Then we had Saint-Suliac, I believe, with a boat with some monks on board. Right, I'll shut up here. Something they didn't show in Entretien is Saint-Suliac at low tide. Big beaches, and then towards the water it's mud. And my little Novalis is still upright, so the props are still doing the job. And I'm going to try to find a couple of 10mm nuts because I lost one when I was putting on the port leg. But she seems to be able to manage it just about well without. And there's some lovely little places, little churches, and that's down towards the south, where I'll be going tonight, where I came from this morning. I'll be going to Dinan like last July. But last July I didn't land at Saint-Suliac, so obviously the tide's getting no lower and start coming up, but the boat's tied up. So I'm going to see if I can scrounge those nuts. You can see the tide's beginning to come in, so I'm going to let's see. I think the boat is still on the bottom, so probably by the time I get there, she'll be floating. Managed to find a couple of nuts. I suspect there might be 12s rather than 10s. But I'll see see what's possible. Otherwise, I have other tricks to jury rig the leaching legs. So there we are. A few little places where you can buy sausages. Unfortunately closed today because I could have done with some sausage and chips, which would have been nice. And I suppose probably because it's October now, and some lovely houses here. But these were no longer in the days of poor fishermen. These are people from places like Paris, or who have holiday homes here. Strange, a mast with some bits and pieces and loads of tenders. They park their tenders here, and Sarah over there, she hasn't gone up at all. So the other boat also, with the twin keel, is also beached. Oh, lovely houses. And another view over Rance. So I might get the odd tiny breeze or two to fill up my jib. Be nice. We'll see how things go. There's a little bit of wind. Quite a few leaves are falling off that tree. It brings that to mind that birch mats sadness of October and the autumn. Beautiful house from the early 20th century. And a few more tenders. So they are just floating. I can see those tiny little movements, and there's a little bit of wind, and coming, I believe, from something like the northwest. I'm going to sail south this afternoon, and I should be able to sail a bit, and not just be dependent on the engine. Right, well, I gotta hop aboard and have something more to eat. And there we are, the good ship Novalis. Oh yes, here's the. Maybe she's still touching bottom. Oh well, I'll find out. I can't see very much, but no, she's free from the bottom. So I'll do one or two bits and pieces, and then when the water's a little bit deeper, I'll get going. Here we are, very definitely floating now. The water's quite a long way up there, and there's a tiny bit of northwest wind. So I'm going to haul up the jib and see how we can do here. One tradition around here is divers. They go around with a tiny little boat to carry their stuff, and they dive and harvest scallops, which of course are absolutely delicious when they're slightly fried in butter with just a little something to give a little bit of pizzazz, but not too much, because the flavour is very delicate. They have big flippers, and they can go down to the bottom. And so here we are. I'm just about ready to go. I'm going to heave up the jib, and I'll just have the engine ticking over just to be sure to get out from among these boats.